What up, YouTube? So I'm back here with another video. This is my 1996 Cajun fishing ski, my 1996 88 Johnson Special 2-stroke. So today we are going to do starter removal because this is no longer doing very well. It does not activate right. So we're going to replace the starter. We're also going to replace these two hoses. These are pressure clamps here. After some time, they tend to lose their pressure. So this hose is leaking as well. So I just figured while we're doing the clamps, might as well redo the hoses. Here is your new starter. This is not OEM. This is an aftermarket starter. It's not very difficult to do these starters. I'm going to do my best to show you what I do. I don't really have editing stuff, so I will do my best. And then these are your two hoses for starboard and port. And then instead of using the pressure clamps, we got regular hose clamps. So if you're doing the starter, I already took the liberty of taking the cover off. It's these guys you flip up. There's one back here, takes the cover off. And then I removed the battery terminals since we're doing electrical work. So to do this starter, we're going to need to take the main lead off to the solenoid, these two wires off, because there's another starter bolt put down there. There's one here, there's one here, and then as you can see, there's one there, and you have to take this wire off right here. And then your starter will come off. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to do my best to try to get you propped up here. If not, I'll just pause it and kind of start and go as I see fit. So again, this is a starter removal on a 1996 Johnson 88 Special. So we're going to get started, and I will get back to you once the starter is removed. So like I said, I'm going to do my best to explain as I go. For this bottom bolt here, it's a 7/16. Alright, pretty much the only tools you will need is a 7/16 socket for this one, a 1/2 inch socket for the lead up here, and the starter bolts themselves. And then you will need a 3/8 for the tiny ones right here. And pretty much you just loosen everything, and then you start taking stuff off. There's also a band for the solenoid right there. You gotta loosen that, and everything will start to come off. So again, always make sure your battery's disconnected. Always remember, if you got a good memory, you're good. If not, you can tape a wire, label it, but the yellow one goes to the top, the black one goes to the bottom. You obviously do not want to get them backwards. So other than that, it's just pretty much disconnecting wires and going from there. So I will bring you back shortly again, and always make sure how everything comes off, goes back together. You have a little lock washer here, goes before the nut goes on, and then your first lead is disconnected. And it's the same thing on this one. Pretty much just work it out. And you disconnect that lead, pop that off, and then this one I took the liberty of loosening already, and that comes off. So now your wires are pretty much free, except for the top one, which again is a 1/2 inch. And again, it's very difficult working one-handed. And you basically just peel the rubber back, break it loose. None of this should be animal tight. And it's the same thing, anything that goes on this nut Make sure it comes off the same way, because you got 2 wires that sit in there. There should be another nut below this. I could be wrong. I'm not. So this is your main lead off. And then you have another one here at the bottom. I may have lied. You do not need a deep well socket. And you take that one off. And again, you want to keep everything together. So you want to take this and put it with your nut to make sure it goes back on there together. And now you're all off. And the last thing you want to do is loosen this band here. And there's one on the bottom down there. And this solenoid will come off so you can get to that back starter bolt. So I will get back with you when I have the starter removed. And then we will install the new one. Okay, so we got the one removed. I will show you when I get it off here, because there's a ground wire on it that I completely forgot about. And these are 3/8, so you're going to need a 3/8 socket as well. Did you ever hear the joke about the one-handed mechanic? Too soon, I know. So essentially, you just get that last bolt out. And your solenoid will, at some point, come free, like so. So then, you can pretty much, nice and easily, remove your starter solenoid. Now, I did forget to mention, right down here is a grounding bolt that goes on your solenoid, but it's got to go on the clip right here. Oops, clip right there. So always be aware of the things that come off. And like I said, it's pretty much this bolt, and this one right here, which is 1/2 inch, and your starter will come out and you put the new one in. So I will get back with you as soon as I get the new starter put in, and we will go on to the cooling hoses. Okay, so the new starter is now on, and you pretty much just reverse the process in which you took it off. You put the solenoid back on, put your lead back on, and then that bottom wire goes down to here, and then your 2 wires here. Yellow goes up top, black goes on the bottom. That's pretty much it. To keep this video shorter too, these hoses are pretty simple. You just get a pliers, or you can do it by hand. You squeeze them. My suggestion would be use a pliers, pop it up, pull it off. Same thing on this side. Shorter hose goes on the left side, longer hose goes on the right side. And we got those new actual hose clamps. Just remember, when you're putting the hose clamps, put it in an area in which you can access the adjustment to tighten it a little bit more better. And like I said, always look over your 2-stroke. I just noticed I'm leaking a little bit of oil, I believe, out of one of the carburetors. So in literally the next video, which will be very shortly when I go get the hoses redone, I'm going to start it. I'm going to go over the starting procedure. Start it up, make sure the water leak is fixed, and make sure the starter obviously works right. And yeah, so I'm going to cut this video off here, and the very next one I'll be posting will be the starting procedure of this boat, and we'll see if the starter works and if it doesn't leak water, because the theme of this, so it puts this power head on, is this exhaust housing leaked water, and this started leaking water, and it looks like one of the gaskets is going out on the bottom of the carburetor. So when you're dealing with an old boat, like I said, I got a new power head, but the carbs are original and the intake is, so you're going to deal with these things. Just always have an open eye when you're looking at it. Till next time.